Can you start perhaps by just introducing the topic and why this is deeply relevant today?
I think we live in an age of leadership craze. So there's enormous amount of stuff on leadership. Books being published, articles, talks. There's gigantic leadership improvement industry. And this easily means that we tend to overemphasize leadership. And here we need to think more carefully about what are we doing, what are the alternatives in terms of how we conceptualize phenomena and lines of action, and how can we act in wise ways. And then we often need to resist the tendency that you are seduced by a particular notion that promises so much and so many good things. Or you engage in very lazy thinking. So what is the problem with more leadership, better leadership, etc. And reflexivity means that we tend to, we try to think not only on how do we solve problems, but how are we thinking about this? What kind of mental images maybe be caught by and be also imprisoned by. So reflexivity is very much that you consider phenomena and yourself and your actions and your relations in a multitude of ways. So you can see this is one way of addressing a phenomena. Here are other ways, and we need to consider the alternatives and see what is good and what is problematic with various ways of addressing whatever we're interested in trying to work with.
You talked about this sort of seduction of sort of some of the traditional ideologies, I think, when paraphrasing you a little bit. What's wrong currently, I mean, with traditional thinking or ideologies, perhaps? Do you think it's the current climate, the times we're living in? Is it themselves theories or models or ideas of leadership that perhaps aren't relevant as much anymore?
I think that there's a range of different problems. One is the general spirit of the time, the zeitgeist, as the Germans would put it, spirit of the time. It means that we live in an age where we are celebrating individuals. So leadership should be unique individual. You should have your own brand. You should live out all your fantasies and all aspirations, and you should be having a very good and impressive life on the one hand. And that means that leadership is very appealing as a fantasy, as a dream, as an aspiration. At the same time, then everybody then tends to think of themselves not as followers, but as individuals. And here you have a dilemma. So we live in knowledge society, it's said, a lot of people with higher education and so on, and still we need all this leadership. It's a bit paradoxical and a bit contradictory. And this is a sign of the contemporary climate, where we are focusing sometimes far too much about leadership. And we have these hopes and aspirations that create a lot of problems for us. So that's one side of the problem. Another side is that organizations become increasingly complicated, and people don't know exactly what they are doing all the time or what they are accomplishing. I mean, at one point in time, then people were building houses and driving trucks, and some people still do that, of course. But now there's a lot of work that's much more vague: service, knowledge-intensive work, consultancy, professional service, a lot of bureaucracies, and so on. And here it becomes more and more complicated. And then what do you do with complications? Then sometimes you are easily seduced by an easy solution, like leadership. If we just get better managers, better leadership, more leadership, then it will be solved. So the complexities of contemporary organizations, they possibly drive this tendency for us to look for easy solutions. And then if you have the leadership industry, people that are doing leadership training or writing leadership books or doing leadership research, it's very easy that you feel tempted to offer these simplifications: transformational leadership, authentic leadership. And they're always formulated in such a way so that they are so good, so impressive, and people really can't resist buying into all this. So there are problems in terms of the general spirit of the time. You have problems in specific organizations where people don't know what to do and so on all the time. And then you have problems with the leadership knowledge. It's easy to sell, easy to persuade to HR people to manage as CEOs that don't like to think critically, reflexively about issues. What is the problem? Leadership is the solution. Here we have a formula for this: coaching, transformative, authentic, whatever. I mean, it's a large industry that tends to make us a bit stupid sometimes because it's easy to be seduced by these grandiose fantasies and images that answer.